Denny Blanco, good morning, my guy. How you doing?
You know the vibes. It's in the game pod. Randy J. Cruz, Denny Blanco. There's a lot going on last night, and my body said, "Yeah, we're not having it today." So you're missing out. And then I woke up to some championships. I woke up to some World Series, and then I woke up to Saquon Barkley. There's a lot. There's a lot going on today.
It's a lot going on in New York. As you can see, I'm going to take this graphic off. So, like you said, a lot going on. A very busy weekend in New York sports. Representing with the hat I'm wearing. If you're watching live on YouTube and Twitter, thank you first and foremost. I got the New York Yankees hat going on. I had the New York Liberty shirt going on.
A lot
because the Yankees are in the World Series. And the New York Liberty are the brand new WNBA champions for the first time in history. On the flip side, the Mets lost in Game 6 in the NLCS to the Dodgers. So we're going to have a Yankees-Dodgers World Series for the first time in, I don't know, over 50 years, something like that. And the New York Knicks will kick off their season tomorrow in Boston. Opening night,
yeah.
2024-2025 season, and their home opener will be on Friday night at the Garden. So there's a lot going on. Got a guest coming on, Anthony Donahue, big Knicks super fan. Always a big fan of the show. But before we get to him, Denny Blanco, man, like these are, I need you up, I need you awake, because when these moments happen, we got to get to it in real time and get the people to let us know what's going on. It's going to be a lot going on the next couple of weeks. So when the Yankees are winning or something, the Knicks are winning, we got to get you on the show right there and then, bro.
1 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
Gotcha. That's not going to happen. Not.
We go live at 1 p.m. when we need it, and then we go live at 1 a.m.
We're going to be going live middle of the game. That's just what's going to have to happen because to sign off at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night, and then get up at 5, 6 to get to my business. It's just not going to be conducive.
Oh no,
to a healthy and bouncy Denny.
We're not gonna do 1 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm just saying that if 10:30, 11, we could do that.
Like I said, anytime before 11. Start pushing 11:30.
Oh, no, we're good. All right, so now I know the memo. Anytime before 11:30 is pushing it, but 11 is the cutoff. All right.
They're trying to get at least 6 hours in before the kids start, being grumpy and start slapping people in the face during the day. Like, we don't want that now, do we? We don't want that, But
before we get to Anthony, follow Dennis on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Sir Denny Blanco. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, letter J CRUZ. If you're watching live on YouTube and Twitter, we thank you. You go to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show us some love and support for your boys on the program. If you are watching, any questions, comments you have with the Yankees, the Liberty, the Knicks, anything NBA, hit us up in the chat. We'll get right to it. But without further ado, a major fan of the show. He comes up maybe once or twice a year during the heavy Knicks season, and we always greatly appreciate his time. My man, Anthony Donahue, Anthony MSG. Now
the Hugh.
Good morning, my guy. How you doing?
Good morning. How's it going? How you guys feeling?
I'm doing good, man. If you're a New York sports fan, you should be quite happy right now.
No, definitely. And all I can keep thinking about over the last few days is, besides being a big New York sports fan like I always have, I love my merchandise. And I really wish we had a Modell's right now. I posted that on a few platforms because, okay, so I always get the Yankees World Series hat with the patch on the side since 1996. I think I have like every one. And then I was thinking, like, with the exception of going to Yankee Stadium, where can I go and get one right now? Like, I guess Champs maybe? Besides going to the stadium. Besides going to the stadium and Fanatics, what store can you go and get like that hat right now?
Right now.
Dick's, I guess Dick's you probably
Dick's
could.
Sporting Goods.
For those that don't know, please, Mr. Anthony Donahue, can you explain what Modell's was? Modell's doesn't exist, and some of our listeners and viewers may not know what Modell's is. We do, but please, can you share what Modell's
was? The ultimate New York sports store. It had gear for every team. If a certain team was just starting the season or in the playoffs, they always ramped it up and had more. And they also had your sneakers, basketballs, hockey sticks, underwear, undershirts, posters. You wanted a poster for your bedroom, or you get it there. And they also had a thing where you accumulated points. X amount of points would always get you a free $20. That was always a lot of fun. Yeah. And if somebody was online with you and like they didn't have a card, you would pay for their stuff, then give you the money so you can get points. But one of the coolest thing about Modell's was if a New York team won a championship or like won a conference championship or won the ALCS or the NLCS, and usually that game ends at midnight. Modell's would open its doors all over the city at the 50 locations at midnight and stay open till 3 a.m. and you could get your championship shirt. To me, that was one of the coolest things. My personal favorite Modell's is probably the one on Bruckner. But I live in Co-op. We had one in Co-op that opened around 2003. But the one on Bruckner, I don't know where the original first one was, but the one on Bruckner, I have a ton of memories there. I have a ton of memories of Modell's. And last thing on Modell's, 2012 on a Sunday afternoon, Knicks Celtics, the famous game where Rajon Rondo had a quadruple double. I was in Boston with Jason Negron, and it was before the game. And who do we meet but Art Modell, Mr. Modell?
Wow.
He gives us like $50, $20 gift cards.
Say a word.
Nice. Nice.
We were shopping that next week. So right now, especially, listen, we always, we want to get socks and underwear and stuff. We can figure it out. But like, Modell's is just perfect, man. It was in every neighborhood all over the city, and you really could get whatever you needed. It was great. It was great.
I hear you, man. It just those little things in New York that you kind of missed. That was the norm of capturing, whether it's the Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, whatever, Knicks. I don't have a Yankees fitted with the World Series patch since the 90s, but I'm pretty sure, I got to get one soon.
Yeah, I guess you got to head over to the stadium, or like you said, Dick's. Dick's will probably have them.
Damn, stadium, Dick's, Champs, maybe.
Actually, I'll give you guys
maybe Foot Locker.
Foot Locker have it.
They probably might. I'll give you guys a great New York sports store before we get into the Knicks. Frank's on Tremont.
Yes. Bing bong.
What about Frank's on Tremont?
You know what? To be honest, the last time I went there, which was a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4, things do change. They were saying they were losing a Nike contract.
I heard they're getting it back, though. Is that correct? Is that correct?
So we both heard that they lost it. I don't know if they gained it back, but clearly, it just seemed like obviously Modell's is no longer in New York City. And then obviously Frank's was Frank's was there before Modell's, and not too many people realize that, where you can get almost anything sports related. Yep. So I'm hoping they come back, and I'm hoping, because Frank's was a staple in the Bronx. If you know Bronx and you know Frank's,
that's a fact. So Anthony, before we get heavy Knicks stuff, where Dennis came on earlier, he said there's a lot going on in New York sports. Yankees, as you can see, World Series, no patch. Liberty, let me take this off. Liberty shirt going on right now.
Absolutely.
WNBA champions for the first time. I was happy to see Teaspoon there. She was very emotional because she was part of those early teams.
Of course.
Get into the finals, but not get the job done. The Mets, they lose to the Dodgers, and of course the Knicks are beginning this week. what's your overall take of the Yankees going back to the World Series and the Liberty winning the championship last night?
Well, first off, on the Liberty, congrats to them. What a series. What a season.
Yeah.
I was actually at the first ever WNBA game at Madison Square Garden in June of 1997. It was the Liberty versus the Mercury.
Wow.
Teresa Weatherspoon, Kim Hampton, Sue Wicks, Rebecca Lobo. They played the Mercury. I would say at the time, the Garden held 19,763. There was probably about 18,000 people there. It was a wonderful experience. And, I followed the Liberty a lot over the years, especially I used to go to a ton of games at the Garden. And to see them get so close so many times and fall short was a little disheartening, but finally they got it. But selfishly, the first thing I could think about last night was like, man, I wish we were still at the Garden. But I get it. Like, I don't really know the whole business aspects of it, but like nobody was going to the games, unfortunately. So I guess the Garden had to make a decision, and the Liberty have done all the right things in Brooklyn. But I think it probably starts with drafting Sabrina Ionescu, and and the WNBA boom. I wish the Garden hung around for a few more years, but that's not what happened. And credit to the people running the Liberty now. And like I said, awesome championship, awesome game. Happy for Sabrina, Breanna Stewart, Jacqueline Jones, the MVP. She was a beat. She kind of reminds me of Zach Randolph a little bit.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed watching the girls play. I still love it. The WNBA is here to stay, and I mean it's great. It's you see the games in Minnesota, every seat was filled.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's really cool. So I'm excited for the WNBA as to hold. And hey, you wonder, would the Garden maybe bring a second team to the WNBA, a second team to New York? I wonder if that's a possibility. Imagine WNBA
I don't know.
in New York.
Yeah,
why not?
Before Denny kicks off the Knicks, I just want to say to your point, the fact that we've seen the growth of the Liberty going from the Garden to the county center in Westchester.
Yeah.
You get 2,000 people there. I'm like, why is a WNBA team playing here? I mean, and then for some point, a lot of teams had these smaller venues, and now they're morphed into these major arenas, and just seeing their growth, drafted correctly. You get you sign Stewart, you get John Quell in a trade that make the finals last year. They lost in the 4. They get right back on it with pretty much the same roster.
Yep. And
just seeing the crowd at Barclays last night, whether you were a fan for a day or for 28 years, it would just mayhem in it, because just seeing the growth of that whole franchise and what they've been through, being there the most times without winning a championship. They went there 5 times, they lost all 5 times, and now
Buffalo Bills
in a crucial game 5, in a game because Dennis was not he was sleeping, in a game where Stewie and Sabrina were so off.
0 for 50. I heard they were 0 for 50. I read.
No, Sabrina hit 1-3. She hit 1-3.
Bro, she was like 1 for 20. I swear to God, she was like 1 for 20.
No, she was terrible.
Stewie was like 4 for whatever, but her defense,
and missed the free throws.
She missed free throw. I'm like, oh my God, we're really not doing this right now, right? Then the controversial foul call.
Yep,
it is what it is. But still, she had to make the free throws.
Yep, she did.
We go to overtime, they win it, but just the culmination of what that path was like to get there. But I'm so happy for them. I pretty much know the parade's going to be all crazy. So congrats to them.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, Randy, you could start off with the Knicks. I mean, clearly, like
go
said,
ahead.
We can go Jets, we can go everywhere, but
oh no, we ain't going there. We ain't going
Giants. Listen, Donnie, we got you here for a reason. Talk about the Knicks, and I mean, should we start Randy with how he feels about you want to change the hats? Okay, right. All right, just get comfortable. Change your hat. There you go.
You're representing New York today. Come on.
There you go.
There you
Mr. Donahue, do you feel? First and foremost, this New York Knicks team, what is your expectation of this current New York Knicks team for 24-25? Let's start there, work our way backwards.
First of all, this is probably the most anticipated New York Knicks season in 25 years, going on the 99-2000 season, the last time the New York Knicks made the conference finals and unfortunately lost to the Pacers in 6 games. My expectations are to be a dominant regular season team, to, be a top seed in the Eastern Conference. I think we'll be a 1 or 2 seed potentially, and to really not stay healthy, which obviously there's not, staying healthy is the most important thing. Obviously getting that chemistry back because there are some new faces, bringing in Karl Anthony Towns, bringing Mikal Bridges, losing Julius Randle, losing Dante DiVincenzo, big losses, but also big additions. But my expectations are to be there at the end. And, whether that means I'm not saying we're going to win a championship, but my expectations are to be playing deep into the spring. My expectations are going to be wearing shorts to Madison Square Garden for basketball games in the spring.
That's right.
Ooh, Randy, Randy, I have a follow-up.
Go ahead.
My follow-up is Donahue. If I told Randy, look, if you guys in the East, the New York Knicks, if you guys do not make the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Semis or finals?
Well, I don't want, because again, we're talking about Boston. We're talking.
If you don't make the semifinals, that means you lost in the first round.
Listen,
got a point.
Listen, if you
go on,
I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to put your feet to the fire. If trying to figure out when is this season a loss? Whether it's we didn't win a championship, but we got to the NBA Finals.
Oh no! If you lost in the first round, So if you don't, I would say, because obviously only one team is going to win the championship, and of course the goal is the championship. And if we lost in the finals, I would be devastated. But a week later, I would probably say, that was a successful season. So I would say a failure would be losing in the first round. A failure would be potentially losing in the second round. Let's say, and I would be devastated. You go to the conference finals, you lose to Boston in 7. I mean, I wouldn't sleep for a week, but a week later you'd say, okay, we're still making the right steps and going in the right direction. Let's get them next year.
Yeah.
I know that may come off as like, answer company man, or just no. Answer. Like, of course, if we lost in the conference finals, I'd be devastated. But I think if we lost in the second round again, that would definitely be a low-key failure. But if we lost in the conference finals, it would be a failure in the moment. But a week later, I don't think we'd be talking failure.
It's conference finals or bust, Randy. That's what I'm trying to get. Conference finals or bust for this particular team.
I was waiting for you to say those words.
But that said, if we're healthy and things go right, we do have a chance to win the championship. And championships are not guaranteed. Yeah. Championships are not grown on trees. All you can ask for as a sports fan is a chance. And when the Knicks have a chance, the Knicks have a chance.
Oh, Randy, the Knicks have a chance, Randy.
I'm just because we are doing this live. I just seen. I know it's football related. Deshaun Watson out, ruptured Achilles. So,
I knew that when it happened.
That was crazy.
I knew that when it happened.
So, and to your point, I agree. This is one of the most highly anticipated years in Knicks history because we are in the year of 2024, and it's been 24, 25 years that the Knicks have been in the conversation of a conference finals or an NBA finals. So those who don't know, who might be really young, the Knicks 25 years, last made an NBA finals 99, last made a conference finals in 2000, 24 years. So, and you fast forward all the ups and downs, more downs and ups. You've been there. I've been through it. Coaching changes, GM changes, president of basketball operations, trades, free agency pickups. It's been a lot. And I think the point. Me and Dennis and Edgar had a show weeks ago about being a fan and what does it mean being a fan? Like, don't just ride the wave when it's good, and then when it goes down, you jump off the bandwagon and go somewhere else. You're in it when they win it and when they lose it, because it's more gratifying when they win it because you
absolutely. And you're seeing a lot of that now with the Knicks. You see a lot of bandwagon Knicks fans that they weren't there during the bad times, and no one's saying like. When it was the bad times, if it was like, say, March 25th and the Knicks were 30 games under 500, was I still at the games? Yes. Was I cheering like crazy? No, because obviously I knew what the situation was. But I was there. And I don't mean going. Like, not everybody. Like, if you say in 2009, didn't want to spend your money to go watch the Knicks, I cannot blame you. I have had season tickets now for 20 years officially, been going for 30 years. I cannot blame you for not wanting to spend money on that product. I get that. But were you watching? Were you invested? Were you reading Alan Hahn? Were you reading Frank Isola? Were you reading Mark Berman?
That's
or
right.
did you check out for 20 years and now you're back? Again, you didn't go because you didn't want to spend the bread. I get that. It was tough to watch at times. But, now it's like everybody's a Knicks fan. Every influencer all of a sudden is a Knicks fan. So it's like, I know that if the Knicks get to the conference finals, I know I've been there through it all. And I've been there through it all. And it's going to mean, and it means already a lot more to me than maybe someone who's just trying to ride the wave. And you see that with the Golden State fans. Like, Golden State has a dope fan base before Steph Curry and them. Like, they've always had a dope fan base. But obviously, when they got bigger, all of a sudden, everybody came out of the woodwork. Oh, I'm a Golden State fan. So we're going to shed a lot for the Knicks the next few years.
And to my point, it's going to be a weird feeling. When we step in the Garden, the last 2 years, you felt like, all right, we're relevant. We have a better situation going on. We could be competitive. They lose in Game 6 to Miami 2 years ago. They lose to Indiana in Game 7 at home. But there's an upward path to what's going on. And it's like ESPN is like they're so reluctant to like say, hey, the Knicks are better. The Knicks are in a championship conversation. And that's how good they are, because only like one person like Perkins is saying, yo, they can have the best record not only in the
That's okay. We got, no matter what they say, we got to do it. They could say we're going to win 58 games, but guess what? We got to do it.
That's a fact. But before Dennis goes, I just think that it's gonna be the first 10 games, first 20 games. Got to see how things go. A brand new trade, getting Towns, and I know a lot of people were devastated because Dante was in that trade.
That was tough.
If you talk about from a basketball perspective, I think Towns fits perfect with what Jalen got going on, and then you add in Mikal. I know people are like shell shocked with his new shot. I think he'll get things going. Like don't let's not panic, in preseason. But this team now, I think
Mikal maybe needs to go to Orchard Beach for an afternoon and work on a shot there.
That's right. Do it outside, right?
I think that's what you need to do.
But no, I like this team. I think this is a championship contender, and I know Boston's out there. We know Milwaukee's out there. We know Philly's out there. But this right here is probably that time where we can get to the conference finals and, dare I say, the NBA finals.
Absolutely. I agree. And especially if you saw the way, this team played last year when OG came back, the last 8-9 games of the regular season, the way we played versus Philadelphia in the playoffs, when Randall was not available, and we saw how good this team can be.
Yeah.
Now you're adding Towns to that. Of course, again, losing Dante, bringing in Mikal. This team's going to be very, very good.
Right.
And then one thing I say, just enjoy it. Enjoy every second of this, because the ones that have been around, we deserve this.
And I think that's the gratifying part. Like, you've been there. You've been a fan longer than me. I've been a fan since 99. So you've been there probably early 90s. So you probably got 5 more years invested. But you're going on, what, 30, 31 maybe years?
First, I became a fan in the 92, officially, where I followed it. I mean, in the 92-93 season. I was 9 years old in 4th grade. That's when I, became entrenched. I knew about the Knicks a few years before, but, I was 5-6 years old. I became entrenched when I was 8-9 years old in the 4th grade.
You hear that, Dennis? Man, a 30-year fan. Unlike you're Brooklyn Nets for 2 years, and you jump off the bandwagon. Now you're a fan of nobody. Look at 30-year commitment from Donahue. You committed 2 years, and then when they got hurt and traded, you bounced.
I thought we discussed you not throwing me under the bus when we had guests. I thought we discussed that, but neither here nor there. The concept is I want to applaud you, not Randy, because Randy was a Bulls fan before the Knicks. I want to applaud you for yeah. We'll talk about that later. I want to applaud you, Mr. Donahue, for going through the good and the bad.
Thank you.
Of the Knicks, and that's very important. But I want to change gears, because the Boston Celtics are probably one of the most disrespected, for me anyway, Denny Blanco, the most disrespected team winning a championship I've seen. I just feel like because of the way they won in the injuries previous, injuries in the Eastern Conference, that folks aren't really counting their championship. It's in the game podcast. Anthony Donahue, Randy J. Cruz, Denny Blanco. Please.
I hate the Celtics as a Knicks fan. I'll be in Boston tomorrow. I'm making the trip. I'll be at ring night, banner night, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
But listen, I'm not gonna. The Celtics earned that championship, and they most likely would. The Knicks have beat them if we were healthy, maybe. But the Celtics earned it. But obviously, yes. First round, Jimmy Butler gets hurt. Second round, Donovan Mitchell gets hurt after game 3 or 4. Third round. I mean, in the third round, they were battle tested. 3 of those 4 games, I know they swept the Pacers. 3 of those 4 games, the Pacers could have won. Like game 1 was in the Pacers' hand.
Yeah,
and they blew it. And then the finals, rolled over Dallas. But no, listen.
Are you afraid of the Boston Celtics? Is that the only team
listen,
you
they're
fear
the team to beat. They're the team to beat. Probably still could potentially be the number 1 seed right now. The Celtics are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. And like I said, still can't sleep on Philly. Still can't sleep on Milwaukee. Don't sleep on Cleveland either. But the Boston Celtics, there's no doubt, respectfully, are the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference. And if the New York Knicks want to get to the finals, the team they must beat are the bad guys in green from Boston, and that's the Celtics.
I would have expected you, seeing what Joel, my African brother, Joel Embiid, did to you guys with one half of a face, one leg. I would have thought, hey, if we see, Joel Embiid healthy for 4 games, we're in trouble. I thought you might have said that.
The Sixers at the top too, man. I said that. I just said that.
Listen, for me, I think Boston, obviously Boston, Philly, Bucks. You're 100% right. And then obviously you mentioned Cat. We mentioned Cat being on the Knicks and him being perimeter. He plays on the perimeter mostly. Yep. It's not in the post. And I've run this by Randy and I'll run this by you. Do you think that strategy in terms of him playing on the wing and not getting the other team's bigs in foul trouble may come back to haunt you down the line as a strategy?
I think, like I said, if you look at the last 10 games of the regular season last year and the playoffs, with the way we played with Isaiah at the 5, OG and Josh the forwards, and then Dante and Jalen in the backcourt, you look at them and how great we played, I think we'll be fine. I'll miss Power Julius Randle, but I think, Cat will get his buckets down low. But, yeah, I think we're going to be fine with that. I would like more of a power guy down low, but, unfortunately, that's what it is.
See, Randy, you just want a little bit of a balance. Now, mind you, I don't mind if you're talking about all of his Cat's possessions. If half the possessions he's on the wing, just Joel Embiid is perfect balance, I think.
Right.
Where it's mid-range, in the post.
Right.
3-point. It's all of the above during
the game. Well, Joel Embiid, listen, we may not like him, but Joel Embiid's a special player.
That's a fact. And like Dennis mentioned, one leg, 35-12, whatever it was in that first round. Probably one of the best first round series I've seen in a very, very long time. And the Knicks are always.
It was a classic. It was that series. I'm glad we won in 6, but the people around the world deserve 7 from that series. That series was incredible.
But we did not get a game 7 because Jalen Brunson had 40+ points.
I was there behind. I was behind the Knicks bench for that. That was incredible. I'm in Philly that night. Brunson has changed this franchise for the better from top to bottom. Getting him, you thought you were getting a nice player, and you fast forward 2-3 years, it's like you talk about a guy that could be top 10, top 12 in the league, potential all-first NBA team guy, MVP candidate guy, all-star, could be an all-star starter. Like, this guy is incredible. Amazing.
And you have him and OG and Mikal and Towns for the next 5, 6, 7 years still in their prime. So if you don't get it done this year, there's still more time to get it done. But
listen,
is the motor.
I said, one game at a time. But of course, the last year may have been the worst you'll see the Knicks in the next 5 years.
5 long years. You deserve it. Again, you deserve a good 5 years.
And I told Dennis this. And you might agree, if the Knicks are healthy, and they get Boston, there's a pretty good chance they could beat Boston. That might have won 6-7.
I picked Knicks over to Boston. I picked Knicks over to Boston.
Yeah, and then if you beat them, you would have the Mavericks in front of you. And I'm like, you know what?
But unfortunately, that's not what happened. You know, like
I know.
That's gonna be delicious, though.
It's fun to talk about, but
it will be delicious if Dallas. Please, you know, I like Donahue. I love chaos. I'm media chaos. I like things to match up for storylines. And if God bless us, if Dallas and the Knicks can make a NBA Finals, the storylines in that. Oh, Jalen Brunson coming back and proving his worth and riding.
It would definitely be crazy.
I mean, in the fantasy world, you might say New York and Minnesota, because Minnesota. For what I say, the trade worked out for both teams.
Yeah, I think that's a classic case where yes, the trade was probably better for both teams.
You plug in Randall, Dante, you add more firepower to Minnesota. They just made the conference finals last year. They got a top 5, top 7 star in Ant-Man on the roster. It's a better balance, and they can, like, Denver is good. They didn't really add nobody, so that's going to be up in the air. Dallas, they added Grimes and Klay Thompson, so we'll see how that goes. You got Minnesota in the mix. You got OKC is a major contender out there, but I don't want to go to West and go back to the East. Donnie, you're not saying you're afraid of teams, but aside from Boston, look at the landscape of the East. Who are you watching? What teams are you like? You know what? That's going to be interesting, or maybe a sleeper. Is it Milwaukee because now they're getting?
Well, I don't think Milwaukee is a sleeper because they had a lot of injuries last year. And I don't think Dame Lillard was classic Dame Lillard, so I expect the Bucks to be right at the top, man. I really do. I mean, a lot of people are sleeping on the Bucks are very good. The Cavs can be very good. The Sixers, obviously, of course. You know, like I don't really see Atlanta doing much. Just Trae Young chucking up shots. Orlando should be a good basketball team. Another year of Pablo Banchero.
Denny loves Banchero. He loved Banchero.
Orlando's going to be good. So there's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, like I say, you're not going to get much from the Hornets. You're not going to get much from the Bulls. But there's a lot of good teams. Not much from the Hawks. But there's a lot of good teams in the East, man. Like I said, the Cavs are going to be – Cavs will be good. The Bucks, the Sixers, the Knicks, the Celtics. I don't think the Raptors will be very good. I don't, but they'll play hard.
Indiana.
I knew I was forgetting somebody. Of course, the Pacers would be a very good basketball team as well.
And listen, I don't know if they do this on purpose, but like, you know, give the Knicks 2 rivals in the first 2 games.
Of course,
and then Indiana at home is like, hey, you can't give me Sacramento.
No.
You know.
No. We need that energy. Donahue, Jalen Brunson, probably one of the better. Obviously one of the better point guards to ever play in the Knicks uniform. This year, me and Randy always go back and forth about first team All NBA, and then there's of course All Star. And I told him earlier in the year, last year, I said it's gonna be tough for Jalen to make All Star in the East now. 2024-25. What do you think about Jalen making first team or even a starter as an all-star?
It's definitely possible. He definitely can. I think he's obviously all-star starter is a popularity contest, and I would say Jalen's popularity is definitely a lot more popular than he was, but it would be tough to beat Dame Lillard in the East for popularity. Dame's probably a little bit more global, but Jalen's going to be an all-star again, most likely. And obviously, first team NBA is voted on, not by the fans. So
you saw what happened last year when I think they started Halliburton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, they started Halliburton and
for the all-star. It was Halliburton and Dame.
It was Halliburton. I think Dame was hurt, so I think Jalen didn't play. Right? Am I going crazy?
Oh, he played. He was the reserve.
He was a reserve. So, yeah, I mean, I want him to be, clearly I think in the East, he is currently the best point guard in the East. Currently.
I would agree.
I don't think there's, you talk about Maxey, you talk about Dame Dollars, Trae, Halliburton. No, I think I said Maxey. No, I think Jalen has it wrapped up. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward how this team moves because it's built around him.
Of course, even more so now with the trade.
I mean, this could, like I mentioned, we keep mentioning this could be an MVP year because
I would say Jalen Brunson absolutely has a shot to win the MVP. Absolutely.
Danny,
Luka.
Yeah, well, Luka's going to be in there. They're going to throw in Giannis, Embiid if he plays amount of game, which I don't think so. Joker is going to be in the.
Is that true about Embiid? He's not playing back to backs.
That is correct.
I think so.
That's interesting. I wonder if the league would say something about that.
No, because again, even having the conversation,
it's the Kawhi effect. It's like Kawhi.
Yeah, even hearing the conversation, hearing other folks talk about it, it's like if Embiid said this, he said this out his mouth. So clearly, he has the higher ups, the owners, they know about it already. That's why he's repeating it. So they already gave him the green light. And I'm just like, wow, interesting. They give him the green light to take nights off. Okay. That's not sitting well with some of the old heads. Shout out to Kevin Garnett.
I don't love it. I mean, I think sometimes, but I think like I don't love it for every back-to-back, Well,
yeah, for me, 82 games, man. You play them. And then there's a difference between you being injured and you being nicked. And Chris Mullin said it best. Yeah, Chris Mullin said it best on it is what it is. Shout out to Cameron and Mace. Said it best. He was like, if you're nicked, you play.
Right.
If you're nicked, you play. If you're injured,
of course. Big difference.
I know we recently, keep bringing up Towns, and because that's the most recent trade. But I know we haven't had you since last season. But when they got Mikal Bridges in July or June, whatever it was, that caught me by surprise because I'm like, holy shit, they really got Mikal Bridges on this roster to go along with OG Anunoby, and that wing defender tag team is going to be crazy against the Tatums and the Browns. I know we don't bring much up about him, but what do you see from him, and how important was that addition of Mikal Bridges to the Knicks?
So when the Knicks got Mikal Bridges, I was more concerned about signing Isaiah Hartenstein. And obviously we did not sign Isaiah Hartenstein. And by not signing Isaiah Hartenstein, that made you make this trade for Karl Anthony Towns and also Mitchell Robinson being hurt. I'm excited about Mikal Bridges, but I'm definitely a tad bit concerned with what I'm seeing in the preseason with that, his jump shot looking like that. But his defense is great. He's a great team guy. I think he's going to be fine. But when we got Mikal, I was like, I'm more concerned with re-signing Isaiah. And we did not re-sign Isaiah, and I get that. I get why we didn't. But I think Mikal will fit right in, But like I said, it sucks to lose Dante because of things he brought up, and Mikal brings things as well.
Yeah, man, Dante, man. And I think that's the one thing they're going to lose off the bench until they replace that is three-point shooting. He was the best shooter that they had. I think he broke some records being on the Knicks.
He broke the Knicks season record.
They did add some new people. Before the injury with Shamit, Cameron Payne. They drafted Kolek. Dottie.
Cam Payne's a nice pickup.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
Who from the newer additions aside from Mikal and Towns you're looking forward to seeing on this team?
I mean, obviously, I don't know how much he's going to play. Would be Tyler Kolek, and what I would love to see is Tyler Kolek, who's an incredible passer, playing on the ball sometimes with Jalen Brunson playing the two. I don't know if they'll experiment with that, but I would like to see that sometimes.
Denny?
Your boy, Coach Tom Tibbs is probably, he doesn't want two guys under 6'2", 6'3" to be the one of the two. So he probably, but Tyler Kolek is phenomenal. He's a pass-first point guard. I don't know what it is with lefties. You Knicks love you some lefties. Y'all loved him. Y'all love him from lefties, but he's a lefty. Obviously, Marquette won Big East chip, and he has no fear in his heart, from what I see.
Yep. No, I love Tyler Kolek, and I think he's definitely going to play. Whether he plays a lot or I'm not sure, but I think he's going to play. Like I said, I would love to see Tyler on the ball with Jalen off the ball a little bit.
Who does he remind you of? Or what guy that either currently or used to play?
Tough to say right now. Obviously you think of lefties. I mean, you could even make it tough to say Jalen. I don't think he has the footwork of Jalen Brunson, which a lot of people don't. But that's tough to say right now.
He reminds me of Mark Price.
Mark Price is a good one. Maybe a little John Stockton on the left.
Yeah.
He's got
a little bit more crafty offensively than John Stockton.
I'm definitely excited, but obviously He's not going to be the thing about Tyler Kolek, though. If he wants to be a starting point guard in the league, obviously New York is not the place to go. Mm-hmm. But he's going to be here for a little while, and he's definitely going to have a role on this team.
So before I get you guys out of here, I know Dennis got to be out soon. So right off the back, like how we left off last year, Achua is going to be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, as soon as he went down, I had PTSD from last year's playoffs.
I'm like, here we go. In preseason, Mitchell going to be out till January, so they got to hold the fort down with what they got. It's just. Listen, man, like I go back to last year, and with those injuries really killed us. And again, not having Hartenstein now, and he's gonna kill it. He's hurt too.
Yep,
he's hurt too. Yep. But when he gets back with him and Caruso for OKC, that team is gonna be fucking insane. So I'm happy for him. I know we had to make some different moves, but I like what we got. I love the energy. I see it all online, social media. This is a powerhouse team. Do they tweak a thing here and there? I think so. But by the trade deadline, they're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
They're going to have to because it's a strong starting five, and I think they have a decent bench. But I think some more firepower, scoring or 3-point shooting is what they're going to have to get.
They need bigs. They need, extra big.
But when Mitchell comes back and Achua, you have those two guys. You got Jericho, then you got Towns. So those are your bigs.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, hopefully Precious will be back in 2 or 3 weeks, but it's just a devastating injury, especially when you factor in, last year and all the injuries, and it's like, damn, in preseason.
I know.
It happened.
Before I let you go, I know there's a thought in your head where when you do home openers or go on the road, there's a certain fit that you wear. I know there's a lot of planning that goes on. Like, so what's the maybe not the fit for tomorrow, but what's the ideas you have for the fit for Friday, and like what goes in your mind for when you step in the Garden on opening night?
Tomorrow I'm not sure what I'm wearing yet, but I'm going to Boston, so I'll figure it out. Obviously, it'll be something coordinated and stuff.
Nothing green.
No. Well, actually, maybe I'll wear my green pennies tomorrow as the troll, but no, I'm just kidding. Oh, wow. I do like those sneakers. I do have some green pennies, which are fire. I usually for opening at the Garden the last 5 years, I've collabed with my friend Robbie, who owns a suit company over by the Garden, and he always makes me a Knicks custom suit jacket that I wear with like a jersey or a Knicks t-shirt. So I will be wearing a new one on Friday that you will all see on Instagram, maybe Thursday night, if not Friday.
So every opening night is a brand new fit. Nothing.
Yes, that's correct.
Top to bottom, brand new. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't have any new sneakers yet, so I may wear a different pair of sneakers that I have worn before. I actually haven't gotten sneakers in a while, but you never know. I got 4 days. Maybe some new sneakers will come, but I'll probably just go with the white Nike Kith. Those are perfect, or maybe the New Balance ones. If not, I got many options. I always love the bows. And like Nori said, the Bo Jacksons, orange and blue. Can't go wrong with them. So I'm not sure what sneakers I'm wearing yet, but it'll be figured out in time. Got a few days.
I just thought about something real quick, and it's very important. You said, if I'm wrong, tell me, your favorite Knick of all time is Patrick Ewing, right?
So, that's a great question. So my favorite Knick of all time is Patrick Ewing, but my hero was John Starks. Does that make sense? So, I never wanted to be Patrick Ewing. I always wanted to be John Starks. I wore the wristband on my arm. I pounded my chest. I was raised by my grandparents. So I looked up to John. Not that I didn't look up to Pat, but I wanted to be John. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't want to post up and shoot. Although I will say Ewing's fadeaway I still use. You know what I'm saying? I still use the fadeaway.
So I asked that because now Ewing is back in the fold.
It's very good.
Development, probably helping out Towns, but how? Because that was from left field. No one really thought that was going to happen. Yeah. But just seeing him back in the fold, how does that make you a long time?
I think it's great. I love it. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a chance to interact with Pat a little bit. I got to see him a few weeks ago at an event. He was very nice. I think he was only nice to me because he knew I knew Edgar.
Yeah.
I said I knew Edgar. He's, whatever you need, I got you.
Yeah.
$1 million, I got you.
Egg is the man. Egg is the man. My last question. Like Josh Hart says, the vibes will be immaculate opening night. But you as a fan, or just if you put yourself on the layup line, like being New York, like what are some theme songs you want to hear? Some songs you want to hear on the layup line Friday.
That's a great question, because when I played high school varsity basketball, I was in charge of the warm up music as well. So my favorite songs in the layup line are also songs I think about being at Knicks games as a kid, seeing the team come out. So I would go with "Whoa" by Black Rob, "Super Thug" by Noriega. Also, a great one would "Tear the Roof Off," Method Man and Redman.
Okay.
Those are some New York by Rakim. Guess Who's Back by Rakim is a great layup line song too. And maybe the king of all layup line songs, Annie Up.
MOP.
Your boy's a hip hop head. Your boy's a hip hop head.
That's great.
Those would be some of my favorite layup line songs. But I would say my favorite one probably be also "Time for Some Action," Redman.
There you go.
There you
go. My man digging the crates real quick.
Let's get ready to rumble. Come on now.
You know, I always just think about because I went to a lot of games as a kid, so I would be at the games and I would keep track of like what songs the Knicks would come out to. Now, you know, again, I'm older now, so the songs they come out to now, I don't even know. And that's okay. Like when new music comes out now, like 20-year-old hip, like if you're 20 years old, like I'm never the old head that's like, oh, that shit sucks. I just say it's not for me. Like I'm not mad about it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm saying
I mean, Denny would say that. Denny, that's not for me. Who sings this song? Like, but like,
I just be like, it's not for me. Like I might not like it, but it's just like I'm 40 now, and that's okay. There's kids that think Reasonable Doubt is boring. So
yeah, could see
that.
100%.
I understand why they think it's boring. Because they haven't had those pictures painted in. It's a different time. It's not the 90s. It's 2024. They don't know. They don't understand the jargon. So I get why it's boring. So exactly. God bless.
And it also shows, last point, the fact that there's so much New York centric music out there. You could play, like, you ain't say Tribe, you ain't say Biggie, you ain't say Nas, you ain't say Wu-Tang. It's like so much shit you could play on a layup line, but to get you hyped up and amped up is only a select few that can get you like that.
Exactly.
Denny Blanco, any final words? And don't forget, just stay on just a bit once we wrap up so I can get everything loaded. But Denny, any final words for Anthony?
No, thank you. Anthony Donahue, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come through and speak with us on It's in the Game podcast. I am going to pray for health for your team. Yes, I'm going to pray for health because I want your team to be 130%. Going into the playoffs because I want to see high entertainment value. I want to see you knock out the Indiana Pacers. I want to see you knock out maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers in the second or third round. I want to see you meet the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, fully loaded. Them too. I want them fully loaded too. And I want to see who wins because I think the Knicks will win in 7. But that's just me. Hallelujah, praise Jesus.
You know what I want to see? I want to see you at the Garden this year, bro. I haven't seen you in a long time. So
who you talking to me? Talking to who?
I'm talking to you. Talking
to me? Well, maybe I'll make an appearance. Maybe, depends on the ticket prices. Depends on the playoffs and the ticket prices. I'll make an appearance. I'll let your boys.
Denny Blanco, as Sir Denny Blanco on all social media, Anthony MSG. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Follow
my pleasure.
Podcasts on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. Knicks home opener on Friday, opening night tomorrow night in Boston. Let's get it done. It's in the Game podcast. We out.
It's in the game. The Knicks fans are ready.
Yes, sir.